So first I will talk about the syllabus of climatology and we'll try to understand how the syllabus is divided. So climatology is in fact divided, I divide climatology into three areas. One, I simply call it as the basic climatology, or I can also use the word traditional climatology. Then there is modern or advanced climatology, and then if you talk about, there is what we call it as the applied climatology. Applied climatology. So all these are the three segments of climatology. Now if we first talk about the first segment, here we will be studying number of things. Like today itself we'll be starting with some of the things which I'll write. They are written in the syllabus. Some of them are not written in the syllabus, and I'll just mention them. Like it is not mentioned in the syllabus, origin of atmosphere. I'll underline those which are mentioned in the syllabus. So origin of the atmosphere, it is part and parcel of your syllabus. Then if you talk about, it is not part of your syllabus, directly not mentioned, but climatology mein you should be knowing everything. It is something like that. It is all interconnected to each other. Then we'll see that the weather and climate. Weather and climate. This is one topic which is mentioned in our syllabus. Then we'll see other topics like composition and structure of the atmosphere. Again we will find that this topic is not mentioned in our syllabus, but you know this is something which is very basic, जो इसको करना ही करना है, because without it understanding it we won't be able to understand many other topics. Then another is the case of insolation and heat budget. Insolation and the heat budget. So that is again which is mentioned in the syllabus. Then there is topic of temperature belts. That means in simple words, distribution of temperature on the earth surface. Not mentioned in the syllabus as a part of temperature belt, it is distribution of temperature के साथ होना चाहिए, and that is the phenomena like temperature inversion. So it is not directly mentioned, but it is part and parcel of the temperature topic. So we will be completing that. Then we'll see another topic which is there, which we have to talk about, is the pressure belts. Again it is one topic which is very clearly mentioned in the syllabus. We will see. Then another topic which we have to cover up is atmospheric circulations. Atmospheric circulations. This is another topic which we have to deal with. Then if you talk about, there are other topics which we have to talk about, and that is, one is the winds. And हमारे syllabus में it is mentioned planetary winds. So it is directly mentioned in the syllabus. regional winds, because winds can be at variety of scales, macro scale, planetary scale, or they can be regional type of winds. So there is another topic mentioned which is monsoon. Then there is local winds. Planetary winds can be in fact two types, surface planetary winds and upper air winds. So upper air winds is part and parcel of the advanced climatology that we'll be talk about. So this is one topic. So temperature, pressure, atmospheric circulation, winds, and then there is other topics that we have to, once we have studied all this, then we will be in a position to ultimately understand or also take into account the topic of humidity and condensation. ह्यूमिडिटी एंड कंडेंसेशन. अब ये ह्यूमिडिटी एंड कंडेंसेशन सिलेबस में मेंशन नहीं है डायरेक्टली, बट इफ यू लुक इनटू द प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर्स दे हैव आस्क्ड यू क्वेश्चंस लाइक द टाइप्स ऑफ ह्यूमिडिटी एंड देयर फॉर्म्स. दे हैव आस्क्ड यू क्वेश्चंस लाइक द फॉर्म्स ऑफ कंडेंसेशन. ठीक है. सो सेवरल if you talk about questions have been asked from these areas as well. देखेंगे हम उसको जब प्रिपेयर करेंगे तो we'll see what are the 8 things which can be asked, what type of questions can be asked from here. Then if you talk about other topics, one is we have to talk about forms of condensation. This is also not mentioned in the syllabus, but we will see, we'll have to talk about that. Then we'll talk about the process of precipitation. This is also not mentioned in the directly in the syllabus, but वो cover up करना पड़ेगा. Then we'll talk about types of precipitation and its distribution. Types of precipitation and its distribution. ठीक है. So that is basically, these are the topics which are included as a part of traditional or basic climatology. Okay, so that is one thing, traditional basic climatology. Then modern advanced climatology, number of topics are there. Like for example, if you talk about here, we talk about winds की हमने बात की. There is another form of winds which is mentioned in our syllabus directly, that is jet streams. These are the winds, these are the topics which are mentioned. Then there are others like air masses, that is also directly mentioned. Fronts, that is also directly mentioned. Then there is tropical and temperate cyclones. Tropical and temperate cyclones, that is also very clearly mentioned in the syllabus. But there are few other things which are not mentioned, like एक topic mention होना चाहिए था. Ideally this tropical and temperate cyclones should be present under a broad heading, and this broad heading in fact should have been, I'll just put it like that, should have been atmospheric disturbances. Atmospheric disturbances. So in this atmospheric disturbances, one is the case of tropical and temperate, cyclones. Then if you talk about, जैसा मैंने बताया, this is directly mentioned in the syllabus. If you talk about the topics which should have been part, like thunderstorms, it is not mentioned in the syllabus directly. Others like tornadoes, others like cloudburst, others like water spouts. All these should be there, mentioned as the part of the syllabus, but they are not there. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि इस पे क्वेश्चन नहीं आ सकता है. क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड एनी टाइम on these as well, because for example if we look into the previous year trends, we find that there has been a question on thunderstorms. So very clearly question on thunderstorm has been directly asked. So that is there, but not directly mentioned in the syllabus. So this is one area. Then another area is that of climatic classification, and three classifications are mentioned to be studied. This is mentioned here. One is that of the Köppen, Thornthwaite and Trivartha. And Trivartha. Then applied climatology. So ये तीनों mention है, and यही तीन हमें पढ़ने हैं. From here the questions are being asked. One more thing which I can actually put here, basic में भी put कर सकता हूँ. I am just putting it here, and this is the case of hydrological cycle, because I will be taking hydrological cycle later once we have finished all these topics. That is why I am putting it there. Applied climatology, if you talk about, is number of topics are mentioned as a here. Here one topic is the phenomena of global warming, role and response of humans. Global warming, role and response of the humans. So this is one area which is directly mentioned. Then there is one topic which is mentioned as applied climatology, applied climatology. So that is one area which is directly mentioned. Within applied climatology there is a topic which is mentioned, urban climate, which is mentioned. But we will see applied climatology is very big. So many areas, like how you use climatology for the purpose of how it can be helpful with respect to agricultural planning, how it can be useful for aviation, how it can be useful for other things, managing disaster, etc., etc. So many areas, so many branches of applied climatology are there. Fortunately, till now they haven't asked any questions on these areas, but we will look into the these branches also, what they talk about, because this broad term is mentioned in the syllabus, applied climatology. So we'll be talking about all of these. See, so I have divided the syllabus into like this. Now this part, that is applied climatology, I will be taking up with the advanced physical geography, that means our third module. ठीक है, so ये दोनों topics वहाँ पर cover होंगे. Then if you talk about in this first section of climatology will be covering our traditional and modern climatology. ये दोनों areas यहाँ पर cover किए जाएंगे. Now important thing is that climatology is something which is so much integrated, so much. You will see from the first main class that will start, that is the composition and structure of the atmosphere. You will see actually that it is very difficult if you don't know little bit about the basic concepts. So सारे जो basic concepts हैं उनके बारे में something you should be knowing about them, about the basic concepts as well. If you don't know about the basic concepts, then starting from the first class you can face some problems. ठीक है, you will see. अभी हम next 5 classes हमारी open है, so you will be seeing how ultimately what I am talking about. मैं simply कहने का मतलब ये कह रहा हूँ कि if you haven't seen the or read NCERT 1 or haven't seen the preparatory class video, you have to quickly try to see those preparatory class videos. ठीक है, और NCERT का चैप्टर पढ़ लो क्लाइमेटोलॉजी वाला. इतना मेरे को चाहिए so that the understanding which I am able to develop for you, in you in fact, would be good. Otherwise मैं बहुत सारे concepts लेकर के आऊँगा from the second. Tomorrow when we'll start the main classes, you will see we'll start with the questions also, answer writing also. So if you don't know some of the basics already, then when we'll write the answers you might face some problems. ठीक है, so that is the case of syllabus. I hope it is clear to you. Sandeep is saying, sir please tell something besides syllabus. Sandeep, ये एटीट्यूड मुझे बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है. ये जो अपने आप को स्मार्ट समझना, आता जाता कुछ नहीं है, बट अपने आप को बहुत स्मार्ट समझना एंड फील लाइक कि सब कुछ हो गया है. यू नो, in UPSC there are at least if you talk about at least out of 19 questions which you have to attempt, there are at least 2 to 3 questions which can be just answered if you just remember your syllabus. In fact, more than 2 to 3 questions if you can just remember your syllabus. That is the significance of learning the syllabus.